Warning! This podcast contains dinosaurs! What's up, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for Legends of Tomorrow, Season 3, Episode 1, Aruba-Con. I'm your host, Dom. With me is Nikki.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going.
It's going. So it's no secret that this is not your favorite series of the four DC TV shows. So that being said, moving into this new season, what did you think of it so far?
This episode, I mean, I'm going into the season with the lowest hopes possible, so that at least the episodes can kind of impress me.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I found that this episode was had a lot more comical moments that I actually smirked at than I would have expected.
Mm-hmm.
The story really annoys me. Just gonna say that right now.
It's time travel.
It's not even the time travel part of it. It's the time bureau part of it that I'm like absolutely just like, I'm like, no, just fuck right off. I'm done with this shit. Everything's a corporation now, it's like, fuck off. But no, like, and you know what? We know that Rip isn't my favorite character either. I hated him the moment he came in. They showed him in season 1.
Well, yeah, no one liked Rip. I think
no.
I don't know. I don't remember if it was Rachel or Cleo liked him only because he played the character on Doctor Who.
It was Rachel.
Yeah. But I think Cleo stuck up for him for the longest time too, and then she changed her mind at the end of the first season.
But yeah. I don't know. Originally, I was gonna step away from this season for this show, but the only thing that really got me to change my mind was the prospect of seeing Gorilla Grodd as the main villain.
Yeah, Gorilla Grodd is going to be coming into the season very shortly. I thought it was going to be the first episode, but I guess not, because we didn't see him, obviously. But apparently there's going to be a gang in Vietnam in the 60s, and that's where we're going to meet Gorilla Grodd. So we don't know how he got there or anything like that, but we're going to assume that it has something to do with the anachronisms. So something sent him there. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
Seeing Grodd in a not in the Vietnam gang, but that's how I'm picturing it, and I know that's not how it's gonna be. I just see him like wearing the hat, and he's like I don't know why I'm picturing an Italian mobster in Vietnam, but that's what I'm picturing. And cigar and the striped suit, that's what I want from Grodd. But yeah, see, Nikki's loving it.
I think it's ridiculous.
Yep, I agree.
But then again, I was saying, like, I wanted to see him sipping tea with his pinky up and with glasses on. So, whatever. A different type of ridiculous.
Yep. So, it is Los Angeles 2017. There's dinosaurs running around. Big Ben's in the middle of
that was actually one of other than the dinosaurs, Big Ben was one of the first things I noticed in the whole scenario of what was going on in the first scene there.
Yeah. And then we see like a T-Rex just like wandering over to them aggressively. Aggressively. And the next thing we know, like this wormhole type thing, except it's not a hole, it's more like a worm rectangle.
It's like a door.
Yeah, it opens up and it disappears through and gets sent back to the Cretaceous period. Yes, Cretaceous period. Contrary to popular belief, Tyrannosauruses did not exist in the Jurassic period. Jurassic Park was a lie. I think only
Oh.
one or two of the dinosaurs in that movie were from the Jurassic period.
It, seriously, Cretaceous Park?
Yeah,
Does
doesn't
that sound...
have a good ring to it. No.
No, Jurassic Park sounds good. So yes, there you go.
Yeah. So then all of a sudden, Rip shows up, and I'm like, "Ugh, already, and he apparently has made a time bureau. He's got these time agents running around. They're cleaning up these anachronisms. And 5 years has passed for him. Like, it's been 15 minutes for Sarah and the gang. She seems surprised. She's like, but it's only been... I'm like, Sarah, really? Like, you deal with time travel on a regular basis and you're questioning it now? I know she's doing it on behalf of the audience, but, you know, the audience should be smart enough to realize this as well at this point. But this is where Rip relieves the legends of duty. They are no longer active Time Lords. So we cut to 6 months later, and we see what the team is doing. Sarah is working at Bed Bath & Beyond, or should I say Sink, Shower, and Stuff, where she's having regular daydreams of filleting her boss with a knife.
To be fair, I wanted to fillet her boss as well.
So... and Red Bandit says the Time Bureau just feels like a replacement for the Time Masters, and it is. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's what Rip said. He said, this is what he said, that he was going to leave to create a replacement for the Time.
Yep.
Bitches, so.
Ray is working at an app company called Upswipes. It's basically Hot or Not, Tinder, Facebook, MySpace, all rolled into one.
It's a dating app, but they had this huge fucking...
It's a social media dating app. So it's a combination. Think of Facebook if it was Facebook for dating. That's essentially what the app is.
No thanks.
So Ray is sitting here trying to work on how to shrink organic matter, and like his boss just doesn't care. He's like, if it's not on a phone, people don't care about it. It's not, a new technology, anything like that.
That's not true. Not true.
So, I don't know. Sure. If it's not on a phone, then I don't care. Oh, never mind. Oh, what? What were we talking about? So Nate is still fighting crime. He's at least, holding true to what the team was about. But in comes Wally, Kid Flash, comes running in, and they clean up some stuff. Basically, Wally does all the work. Nate just deflected a bunch of bullets with his body, as Nate does from time to time. It's pretty much all he's good for lately.
So they're in Central City.
Yes, they are in Central City, and then he goes on a date with his girl Elena. Which we see Nate on his phone. He's using the app that Ray's working for, Upswipe. We find out that he broke up with Amaya, and she went back home to 1942, back to Zambezi. So it's like, ooh, what happened with her there? Don't quite know yet. I mean, she obviously had a meeting with Rip, and she decided to go home, but I'd like to see that, so I hope we get that in some kind of flashback.
Well, it kind of did get an itty-bitty flashback.
We got a flashback of her where she is. We didn't get a flashback of her talking to Rip going back, is what I meant. Mm-hmm. And then Mick is in Aruba. He finally made it, right? That's where he's been wanting to go, and he's just laid on the beach. And I think it goes without saying, your favorite character on the show is Mick. Am I wrong?
By far, yeah. Mick is the only tangible character in the show.
Would you rather just have a Mick spin-off than the show existing?
No, because his sarcasm, his wit, his quirks, they play off the other characters. He phrases and says things differently depending on who he's interacting with. He's still a pompous ass, but the things he may say does differ, and it is hilarious.
Yep. So he's just lounging out on the beach, and all of a sudden Julius Caesar walks over and basically tells Mick he's taking over. So Mick calls up Sarah, and lets her know what's going on. In the meantime, Sarah takes it out on her boss. She quits on the spot, chucks the knife at him. She goes and finds Ray, and Nate, and they all come together and decide that they need to they need to fix this because the Time Bureau doesn't know what's going on. Right? They go and visit Rip at the Time Bureau, practically get into a big confrontation right off the bat. And
Well, they broke in.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's like, next time let us know you're coming. At the same time, shouldn't the Time Bureau know that this is going to happen? Like, isn't their job to monitor time? They should know when the break-ins are going to happen. Especially if their own building. So they should have known this. They could have prepared. They could have captured them before a fight started. They're not too good at their jobs. We already established that.
We've established that the time travel in this show doesn't make all a sense.
Right.
Since season 1, so.
So they give Rip gives them a tour, and they meet King Arthur. Then they flashy thing memory wiped him from Men in Black. And Sarah decides at that moment she wants the Wave Rider back. So they go into the docking bay, and they find out that the ship has been upgraded and put to a new use. It's basically turned into a simulator, where it's simulating missions that the Legends themselves had to deal with, different scenarios that they had to deal with. And I just love the reference of, we should use the ship as a shield. No, I'm just kidding. That's a stupid idea. Who would ever do that? And then, it cuts back and it's like, oh, hi, team. You guys did just that.
That was Sarah's idea in the whole big scheme of things in that episode. So it did pan over the whole team, but then it did focus on her a little bit, and she looked like she wanted to just rip some faces off.
So in the meantime, they're talking to Mick still, and Mick he's got Julius Caesar strapped to a chair, and he's sitting there eating salad, and he just looks over at Caesar and goes, "Your salad sucks." And I was like, I absolutely love Mick. Like, hands down, Mick is the best character on this show. So they go to open a portal to Aruba-Con. In the meantime, Mick kind of let Caesar escape because he got greedy and wanted his gold. And he runs out, and this is where we find out where the title of the episode comes in. Aruba-Con. It's like Comic-Con, but in Aruba. And we have a bunch of frat house people in togas and, all kinds of stuff. And they're having a big party on the beach. And Caesar gets thrown into the middle of them. He runs into the middle of them. The door to the Time Bureau had opened up in the middle of the party. So they get thrown in. As the door closes behind them, Mick tackles them down, knocks over some other guy that's, in a red robe like Caesar was. Gets the wrong guy. So they bring him back, and Rip is like, this is Julius Caesar? Instantly puts Mick down, doesn't believe him.
Yep.
So, Mick goes to put a coin in the vending machine, and when they find out that it's a real coin from Caesar's time period, they're like, oh wait, you really did meet him, so we have to steal the...
He's like, duh!
Yeah. So we have to steal the Wave Rider to get Caesar back, restore the timeline, all this, and prove to the Bureau that they can do their job, because they're all living these boring, mundane lives that they don't really want to live. Like, they have no purpose anymore. They found their purpose as being, the Legends. That's all they want to be. So, so they go and steal the Wave Rider right in the middle of the simulator class. And it's like, oh, look, space pirates, time pirates or whatever. And I was like, Oh, here we go again. Mick just knocked him out. So, I don't know. That scene was really funny to me.
I love how Mick was in a sarong pretty much the whole fucking episode,
Yeah.
walking around in a skirt.
Yeah, it was really comical. And then Gideon gets on the thing right away. So apparently Gideon's still in the ship. You would think the Time Bureau, if they were modifying the ship, they wouldn't leave Gideon's programming intact. But apparently she's still running, and she time jumps them out of the building, but she only is able to jump them like 3 minutes into the future. But it does get them out of the building. So they fly over to Central City to pick up Jefferson and Dr. Stein. We find out Jefferson dropped out of school, and Dr. Stein's daughter is pregnant.
I just want to say something about Gideon. She's top of the she's gonna be top of the line AI for a very, very long time. Like in thousands and thousands of years in the future. Not only that, remember her and Rip had that sexy time?
Yeah.
So he's not gonna let them take her out of the
I guess.
Great White Riders. She's gonna be there forever and ever because Rip's not gonna let that happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Makes sense. But yeah, Stein's daughter is pregnant, and so they never fixed that. That's a time anomaly that they allowed to go on. And Jefferson's got to do some convincing to get Stein on board, but he goes with them, and they all make up this plan to go get Caesar back. But they were accused of being a chainsaw for brain surgery, so they want to approach this as being a scalpel. They want to go in with precision and not make a big scene out of it, and they do pretty well. Right? They have Sarah come in and basically kick his ass, but it seems like it's more of a like a girlfriend beating up the ex-boyfriend kind of scenario that the frat boys are cheering along and whatever, especially because the girl's kicking his ass. More than it is like, we're kidnapping this guy. So they were able to pull that off. And then in the holding cell, Caesar's like, yeah, we should team up and you could be my wife and, with an Amazon wife like you. And I'm just like, no, you don't want to do that.
No.
So Rip pages them over the thing and says that he wants to return Caesar to them. Sarah agrees, but then later changes her mind. And they take him back to his timeline, and he accidentally gets the book, The Rise of Rome, and gains future knowledge, and now when they go to return to their time, they can't, because their home no longer exists. Caesar has conquered the entire known world. So, the Time Bureau comes in, trying to fix the timeline. But of course, they can't handle it, because they're no better at this than the Legends are. They're not. So the Legends have to come in and save their asses and fix the timeline. And the Legends' new motto is, sometimes we screw things up for the better. And they're not wrong. Sometimes they do. Not always, but sometimes. And it turns out that, Rip kind of has to allow them to do what they're doing because Sarah's going to do it anyway. And they're just going to cause more problems, so he kind of has to step aside. In the meantime, we see Mick had stolen what he calls a portal thingy, the memory thingy, and a communications thingy from the Time Bureau. Rip realizes these things are gone. Because he's like, I seem to have misplaced my watch. He knows exactly what happened. He knows they have it. So he's allowing it. And then we kind of leave off there, but we cut back to Zimbazi in 1942, and we see Amaya, and she scares off a bunch of poachers, and she's full out become Vixen now, like, again, I
Yeah.
should say. She's using the amulet, everything, so.
And she's summoning like a whole herd of animals rather than just embodying one.
Yeah. Yep. So she's got full control over her powers. So we learn about a group called Malice coming to Legends. And I'm not quite sure what they are, but I do know that John Constantine will finally be making that Legends appearance this season that was rumored from forever ago.
Okay.
So that is confirmed. He's definitely part of that. So I'm interested to see that. We do know, like we mentioned, Gorilla Grodd is coming in. We do know Damien Dark is coming in. So I mean, I really, really like Damien Dark. He was a great part of that season of Arrow where he played the main villain. I liked him as the villain here on Legends last season, and I think he'll do good again. But we're not getting Reverse Flash and all that again. So it's basically gonna be Grodd's team, and he's teaming up with a bunch of other villains and stuff like that. But along with that, at some point, we're gonna get what they call a Freaky Friday moment between Jax and Stein. So they're gonna swap bodies. They're gonna Jax is gonna become Stein and Stein's gonna become Jax.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna get vampires. Vampires are coming in this season. And apparently Rip's got a dark secret that he's hiding. So, some interesting stuff coming our way.
When doesn't he have a secret to fucking hide?
Of course.
Seriously, Rip, just die.
Of course.
Like, get out.
So there's a lot coming this season that has me interested. Grodd is probably the biggest one for, I think, both me and Nikki.
Mostly me.
Mostly you. Very close second for me is Constantine. Because the last time we saw him was in Arrow. I forget if it was last season or the season before. So it's been a little bit for him. Yeah. I'm curious to see how the vampires are going to play out too. But I don't know. I don't know. Do you have anything else for this episode?
No.
No?
No. Like I said, I'm going in with the lowest hopes possible so that I walk away slightly impressed.
Okay.
Of course, Mick stole the show.
He always does.
He's completely stole the show, and I'm just a little bit curious of who Lily is involved with. Because she's preggers, and she was living in Rome, right? Is that what she said?
I think so.
Yeah, and then she moved back. So, is there gonna be a theme here, like Rome?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Really, that's all I got.
Yeah. Next episode is called Freak Show. Not American Horror Story. Don't worry, Nikki. The Legends find themselves in 1870 to fix the anachronism, which happens to be at P.T. Barnum's fledgling circus. However, Nate and Ray accidentally free a saber-toothed tiger, creating a bigger problem. Meanwhile, P.T. Barnum is on the hunt to capture Nate and Ray to make his show even more exciting for the crowd. So, should be interesting. And then earlier, Red Bandit had said Did you guys hear that Victor Garber is leaving the show this season? And yes, I did hear that. Later on in this season, Professor Stein will be leaving the show. They're going to have to come up with some explanation or even a replacement, kind of the way that they had to replace Ronnie Amell when his... or Robbie Amell? Robbie Amell. His character was Ronnie.
His character was Ronnie, yeah.
When they had to replace him with Jax to be the second half of Firestorm. So I feel like they're going to have to do that with Stein. But they did leave it open where it's like Stein really wants to spend time with his daughter. Because his daughter's about to have a baby and all that, and he wants to be there, and he promised that he'd be back, and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It seems like they'll be able to work that in all right, but I hope they get somebody good in there to balance out, because I really like Stein as a character. You can see he's like the unhip old dude, is like doesn't know what the hell's going on, and he's not with the times, and it really adds a dynamic to the show that I'm going to miss. So I hope they're able to fill that in. They don't just try to like replace it with some new like quirky guy that like understands everything, like.
Oh, we'll get another HR.
Oh God. So I think that's about it. So Nikki, where can the people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24.
Excellent. You can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM. And you can find us all and more on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTV Podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows, games, and movies. And now that the legends are leaving Central City, I will no longer be able to remain in jitters. I'm going to have to go with them on the Wave Rider. So until next time, see you guys later. Are you Gorilla Grodd sidekick?
I wouldn't mind.
He could just throw you through a wall, though.
Not if I'm his assistant sidekick thing. Why would he do that to me?
Why would he do anything?
Because he's a really smart fucking gorilla and he knows what's up.